I'm here, and we're ready for the Raw after WrestleMania. It's very anticipated. It's going to be a good show. I hope everybody is having a great Monday, a great day after such a long WrestleMania weekend. I know, us at the Sports Jedi Network, we've been really busy ever since Thursday's TNA, but I think we all could say we had a great time. Um, I'm really thankful, really happy for this weekend. And there's a lot of things to get into. There is a lot of things to get into. Again, I appreciate you guys being here with me. Sorry for the little technical difficulty in that first minute here, but I'm here. I'm PGH Chris TV, and you know, I don't want to be that guy to, you know, start off like this. But I'm not gonna get into any WrestleMania stuff right now. I'm gonna save that for a little bit because Kev did a great job this morning talking about WrestleMania Night 2. Now, this is what I'm going to get into. I want to talk to the IWC. What do you guys want? What is it that you guys want? Because I've heard nothing but bitching and complaining this entire weekend over one main event that wasn't exactly the best. What is it that you guys want? We all wanted John Cena to and you know what? I'll get into that then. But this is how I truly feel. We wanted John Cena, including myself, to win. We got it. We got pretty much everything we wanted in this card. And yet everybody is still finding a way to bitch and complain about something. Was the main event good? No, it wasn't great. It was good, but it wasn't great. It was good in the sense of I still think it was unpredictable. There's still a possibility and a chance that Cody Rhodes could have walked out WrestleMania as champion. And at the same time, there's still anticipation from John Cena about him winning his 17th title, breaking the record. That match itself was interesting because of the outcome. And we got what we wanted. And I agree. Was Travis Scott the right thing? Was it entertaining for Travis Scott? No. But at the end of the day, it's not like they just randomly brought this guy out here to do something. He was there in the ring the night that John Cena turned heel. It makes perfectly fucking sense to me. I don't understand. What do we want? What do we want? Is it because of the outside shit that's going on in WWE? Is that why? Are you too focused on, you know what? Let's get into that. What's up, Viper? What's up, Jay? Salute to you, my brother. I hope you're having a great day. I hope you're having a great Monday after a long WrestleMania weekend. And thank you for joining me here on the playback. What up, Deftones? Deftones in the building. Salute, Deftones. How are you, brother? I hope you're also having a good Monday, having a great, high off, WrestleMania weekends, the last day. The Raw and the main roster guys are on in Vegas, so let's enjoy that. But back to what I'm saying. So we got what we wanted at WrestleMania. Boom. For the last decade, we have been bitching and complaining about how dead kayfabe is. And the second that Paul Heyman or John Cena goes on the Pat McAfee show and actually tries to do kayfabe, it's a problem. You guys are all caught up in Paul Heyman making a something to the guy where he said you're gonna get deported or whatever, or him talking about Shannon Sharp. Isn't that the type of half of you guys wanted the Attitude Era back, but you can't handle stuff like that? Really? Really? I grew up in the era where I watched JBL tell a bunch of Mexicans to go back over the border while he was feuding with Eddie Guerrero. I watched JBL during that. I was not watched it because it was during a live show, but I remember hearing about it as a kid where he went so far into the angle with Eddie Guerrero where he even had Eddie's mom have a heart attack in the ring. Oh my God, you some of you fans wouldn't be able to handle the shit that goes on that went on back then, but you want a more what's it called, PG-13, or no, not PG-13, a more rated R or whatever rating it is, TV-14 raw. But the second they try to give it to you, or they try to get into the character, it's too far, it's too far, it's too far. Again, what do you guys want? I don't understand it. I understand you can't satisfy every single wrestling fan. I get that. But a lot of people are calling this the worst WrestleMania of all time, which is bullshit. That's straight up bullshit. And you're lying to yourself if that's the case. Viper said all the so-called fans of pro wrestling think they fucking know everything, and when they ask for something more edgy and they get it now, they want to bitch and moan about it. I mean, look, this is just how I feel personally. You guys might feel different. The people watching might feel different. Some of my colleagues here on Sports Jedi Network might feel different. It's okay. I'm just telling you guys how I feel. And I've been letting this play out this whole morning. I woke up this morning and it was straight chaos. This morning alone has everybody talking more than yesterday, than WrestleMania. And now people want to label the company a MAGA company. What? Because you forget that Roman Reigns is not Roman Reigns 24/7. That Roman Reigns, I mean, there's a difference between Joe Anoa'i and Roman Reigns. I even cringe saying these wrestlers' real names, but it's the truth. It is the truth. There is a difference between those people, and you fans forget that. If you want to judge Roman Reigns, the character, by all means, fine. You know what? I'm not even going to get into that part. You know that. Now that I got those two parts out of the way, I want to give an apology. Not an apology, because I never said anything crazy about this guy. I just called him boring a bunch of times. I want to give an apology to Mr. Karrion Kross. I woke up this morning to... I was speechless. But I pulled up into my college campus in my car, and I got a video DM, and someone said, "Watch this," in one of my group chats, and I was just blown away. Now, whether that is a work or a shoot, I don't give a fuck. I don't know Karrion Kross, but I can tell you right now, I think damn well that's actually how he feels. And shit, he has every right to feel that way. And my God, they need to keep going forward with this on TV. I saw the Kross promo he did on the recap of WrestleMania, brother. Push the fuck out of this man. Man, this could be it for Karrion Kross when he gets pushed. I know I said a couple of weeks ago, yeah, Deftones, yeah, that promo from Kross was so great, man. Dude, it's exactly what he needs, because this was my criticisms of Kross. It was never about him in the ring, because I watched him in Impact. Okay, he was great in the ring. Nothing about that, right? This was my kind of problem with the Karrion Kross character. He had great visions. He had great creative. One, I don't think the people in charge back then, like Vince and all those guys, listened to him and took him serious. And I just think he didn't get over with the crowd character-wise. I think he was trying to play too hard a character, when all along he just needed to be himself. And again, apologies, my mic just fell. And again, right? These wrestlers, you're not going to become a star overnight. Like, it takes years. Some of these guys have been in the business for years, and they're just now getting their big break. Look at Damian Priest. This is only a second singles. This is his first singles match at WrestleMania. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm not counting that Money in the Bank cash-in a singles match. But he had his great moment last year. He had a tag team match with Bad Bunny after the pandemic. I mean, a lot of people just need something. And now Karrion Kross, I think, got it. Because there's a lot of things that we can relate to Karrion Kross. Look, not all of us are pro wrestlers. We don't know how it feels to, like he said, miss those funerals because you have to go on the road. We don't know how it feels to miss those holidays because we have to be on the road traveling, doing what we love. But the thing that we can all relate is we've all loved something, and we probably have been told by somebody holding us back that you're either not good enough or you're good enough, but you're just being held back, and you just want to let it all out. And that's exactly what Kross did. And I think it set well with so many people. And I think they finally felt something with Karrion Kross. They finally felt some personality. They finally could relate to him. That's what he needed. That was great. I loved it. Now calling AJ Styles by his real name. I mean, it was just real. Telling that bald fuck with the suit in the back of the truck to go fuck himself. That was great. That was great. I want to see this tonight on Monday Night Raw. We need some type of interaction with Karrion Kross and AJ Styles. Because I listened to Kev's Good Morning Wrestling, and he nailed it. He nailed it when he said something like, this was shit. Something that he needed, or something like he needed this, and this was good. That's why I gotta go read, but it was good stuff. I agreed with everything. That's why Kross was over on SmackDown and was getting cheered last night at WrestleMania. Put him in the line for the world title opportunity, at least a mid-card title. Yeah, I mean, I would not mind. He's on Monday Night Raw or whatever, right? So I wouldn't mind him. Now he's going against Dominic's Intercontinental title. I think they could have a great program. They need him and AJ Styles need to have a feud. They need to have something. That will ultimately elevate AJ Styles, or Karrion Kross. I don't think they can just put him into the title scene right away or something. They need to start with this and keep going. Maybe even something with Logan Paul, because Karrion Kross had, I mean, he came at Logan Paul and basically everything he said was right. So we need a follow-up. We need more with this. It's going to be great. It's going to be great. But I kind of got most of the stuff that I wanted to talk about, just some of the stuff that I've seen today. I did my night one prediction, or review. So let me just get into a little bit of night two, because we still have 15 minutes before Monday Night Raw goes in the air. So we can talk a little bit about this stuff, right? I want to start with this. To the people that are making graphics, making memes about Joe Hendry getting buried, you're fucking out of your mind. And I know I'm kind of going off, and excuse my language, but just some of the BS that I've seen today kind of has me hot, because I don't understand what some of these fans look for in pro wrestling. So Randy Orton had a mystery opponent after Kevin Owens has to get surgery, suffered a neck injury. People thought it was Nick Aldis. People thought it was Miro. But it was Joe Hendry. Now, the match was short. But let me tell you this. As soon as you heard the word "say his," that's all, the two words, "say his," the crowd went freaking apeshit. The TNA title got exposed in the biggest wrestling show of the year. Joe Hendry had a match, not just at WrestleMania, but with Randy fucking Orton. But he got buried. How is he getting buried when he's showcasing TNA in the biggest show of the year in all of pro wrestling, having a match with Randy Orton and having over 60,000 people go crazy over his song. The same people that are saying that don't watch TNA Weekly, and that's the ultimate thing that pisses me off. You guys don't watch TNA Weekly. We do over here at the Sports Jedi Network. We can tell you if Joe Hendry's getting buried or not. And he's not. Viper said that was a huge and massive exposure for Joe Hendry for TNA. And that's the point. That is the point. It's not like Joe Hendry went in there with some scrub. He went in there with Randy Orton. Got RKO'd twice. And had Randy Orton do his signature move. Had him hand his raise up in the air. And gave him praise in front of 60,000 people. You're fucking out of your mind, people. If you're one of those people that think Joe Hendry got buried last night, give me some of that shit you're smoking because you're fucking nuts. Excuse me as I take a quick sip of water. Dominic Mysterio is your new Intercontinental Champion. Yes. That was unexpected. I'm not going to lie. I thought our good friend over here, Braun Breaker, was going to retain his title. He did not. But he didn't get pinned. Penta didn't get pinned. You still protect those two guys. And now you have your feud with Finn Balor and Dominic Mysterio. Dominic pins Finn. Boom. There it is. You pinned me to win the Intercontinental Champion. I thought we were friends. I thought we were brothers. Boom. Dominic Mysterio got popped over 60,000 people. Finn Balor feels like he's the leader of Judgment Day. Now Dominic Mysterio is technically the leader of Judgment Day since he is the only one in that faction that carries gold. So we're going to have to see where this plays up with those two because I think that's going to happen at Backlash. Finn Balor took the L, not Braun Breaker or Penta. Yeah, and Finn Balor's fucking crazy, Viper. No, I think Finn even had a good showing too. Even though the crowd was dead during his entrance, it was still good. I want to talk about the Damian Priest and Drew McIntyre match because a lot of people don't like it. I thought it was really good. With Slayer, with Kenny King of Slayer coming out. Look, I am so, oh my God, dude. It's been a long week. Let me try this again. Kerry King from Slayer. Too many Kennys, bro. I'm getting ready for AEW this weekend. Kerry King from Slayer plays Damian Priest out to the ring. Some people are saying one of the matches of the night. I thought it was. McIntyre won clean. He got his revenge on Damian Priest. Both of the presentations look good from, again, Slayer, from Kerry King playing Damian Priest out to the ring to Drew McIntyre in the Doom Slayer attire. I thought the presentations were good. It wasn't they were I thought the finish was great. It was believable. You put Damian Priest between two tables and you hit a Claymore with a chair on his head. That was a great finish. And they were both, it was a hard-hitting match. They both got their spots. They both had great weapons. It involved, as Kev puts up Monday Night Raw. Appreciate it, brother. I appreciate it. Again, sorry for the first minute of this. I don't know. I literally trying to turn on my camera on. I had to refresh the browser, but thank you guys for being here. I appreciate it, sticking through it. I had my Samuel Lyon moment right there. Shout out to Samuel Lyon, host of Good Morning Wrestling. But I thought this was a good match. And they finished the story here with those two. And it's been playing out for a year, right? With Priest getting his match at WrestleMania, Priest cashing in on Drew at WrestleMania, to him beating him in his hometown, to him eliminating him in the Rumble, to him pinning him at the Chamber. This has been building up for a long time. Priest losing isn't going to hurt him at all. He'll be fine. Yeah, I'm curious, Viper, to see what's next for Damian Priest. I wouldn't mind him going into a program with Jacob. I think we could all, most of us could probably speculate or guess that Jacob's program is going to be with Solo, but I could see where Damian Priest ends up in that spot. Because he's a former world champion, and I think you got to keep him hot with stuff like that, and putting him in the U.S. title picture, I think that'd be really good for him. Another match that took place last night, one that I expected a little bit better. I didn't think it was a bad match because of how athletic these two are, and how I'm an AEW guy, right? So I'm always gonna for this type of match. I'm talking about the Logan Paul versus AJ Styles match. I wasn't really looking too much into the story. A, didn't really build it too much, and B, I was just looking for the technical, the flying part of the wrestling part of the show, and I thought it was good. The crowd didn't really like it; they were really dead during it. But hate Logan Paul, love Logan Paul. That dude is freaking phenomenal. He is such an athlete. He does a lot of these moves better than quote unquote these trained wrestlers, these independent losers in the indie circuit that yeah, what I'm trying to say. So a lot of people hate Logan Paul because he's been doing this in a short amount of, he's an outsider doing this better than half people in the business. Becky Lynch made her return yesterday, teaming up with Lyra. Let's talk about that. Look, you could. I said this. Becky Lynch comes back after months of not being on TV and wins a championship. Now, granted, Viper, I didn't like the finish of it, but both superstars did amazing. Like it or not, Logan Paul is a great athlete. Hell yeah, man. Logan Paul is a stud. He's just like John Cena said this morning. He's really good. He's just so athletic, and that helps him kind of make it look easy. But Becky Lynch returning. I did, those women's tag team titles don't mean shit. They don't mean shit. I don't care too much for the aspect of her actually carrying it because they don't mean anything. However, now before I say however, and I kind of hope one if this is an angle to try to get Bayley, if Becky did this to Bayley or whatever, if it's something like that, cool. But if this is just something to get Becky Lynch on the card so she doesn't go anywhere else, or not that she would, let me rephrase it, so she comes back, it's bullshit. Why the fuck? Why would you take the titles off Liv and Raquel? If again, I'm not going to go too hard into it because they need a follow-up and the follow-up hasn't started. So I'm just hoping that we find some answers with that, because if Charlotte did this, and you know what she kind of did already, winning the Rumble, people didn't like it, and people are already calling her Becky Hogan, whatever. I'm curious to see how that went. I'm curious to know what's going on, and I guess we'll find out in the next couple of weeks. But it's tough. It's tough because I see both perspectives, and I see why people could feel a certain type of way, because she does this all the time, in my opinion. The women's tag titles were something when Sasha and Bayley had them during the pandemic. But nowadays, it's disappointing how much the titles aren't as important anymore or ever have been. Yeah, I think even Sasha, I don't like Mercedes, but I even think her and Naomi did really well, and her and Sasha did really well for those tag team titles. They were consistently on. They were the hottest act in the show, one of the hottest act of the show, if not the hottest act of the show during the pandemic when they had him. If it wasn't them, besides Roman Reigns, of course. They kind of got some juice over the last year with Bianca and Jade holding the women's tag team titles, but Why the fuck don't you have a Katana Chance and Carter out there? Where the fuck are they? They're one of your best female tag teams in the freaking roster. And you have them sitting and catering every fucking week. But they don't care about this women's tag team division, so why should I? Why should we? Those are the two girls you need in this division. Not Becky and Lyra. Not Jade and Bianca, even though I thought they were great. You need those two. But, they just sit in catering every week and do nothing. And that worries me because we talk about releases happening. It's WrestleMania just ended last night. You better believe we're getting budget cuts. People are going to get released in the next month or two. And I'm hoping those two ladies aren't a part of that list. But if they are, don't be surprised. Where does Liv go from here? Does she go after Lyra's Intercontinental title or does she go after the world title again? So Liv, I think she should. I don't think people want to see her in the world title scene again. Maybe I could be wrong. Maybe it was just that they didn't want her and Rhea in the title scene, but or like together, like feuding because it's been going on forever. But I don't know. That's a good question, Viper, because I could see. I ultimately think Liv. If Lyra or if Becky and Bailey have their thing and like they whatever, Lyra's ultimately going to have a feud with one of those two. So I don't really see Liv going after that title, but I do see possibly her going after the world, especially if it's Io Sky, especially with stuff like that. But I don't know. I don't know. And like I said when I first started the stream at 7.